Hello everyone, and welcome back to day 4 of your 10-day journey to handstand with me, Sarah White. So as you know, we will be going through some kind of skills first, some tricks and tips for you to think about when you're in your handstand, and then seeing as I let your shoulders kind of rest yesterday, we're going to go back into loading the shoulders with a little bit of a workout. So today's video is all about these tiny details. Obviously, when we're upside down, it is learning to balance on these fabulous things here. So today's kind of skills will be bringing more awareness into the hands. We'll talk about where you're going to fix your gaze and where you'll put your weight. And then we'll also play with another handstand variation on the wall, getting us into our L shapes. So the first thing I want us to do is come down on towards the ground. We're going to get into our finger position. So if you come down on all fours to start with, bring the hands, as we know, it needs to be shoulder width apart. Now, spread the fingers wide. And what I want you to think about doing is it's something that I call spider knuckles. So I want you to push in towards the fingers and then pull the fingers back a little bit so you get that kind of lift in the middle knuckle. If you're looking at this and you're like, Sarah, how the hell do you do that? Trust me, it comes with practice. I've had a few years to practice this. So as you pull the fingers back, you'll kind of notice that that middle knuckle is grounding into the floor. Now that middle knuckle, when you come in towards your handstand and you're trying to stack those hips over the shoulders, which we went through in day 1, that's where you need to be placing the weight, right? So if you come down now, if you do it with me, hands down onto the floor. Already think about rounding through the upper back and just stay onto your all fours. Push the fingertips into the ground, pull the fingertips back. Now everyone tuck your toes and then take your gaze back towards the thumbs and lift your hips. So think about sending the hips on top of the shoulders. Keep the weight forward. You're going to feel a nice little loading. You can soften the knees if the hamstrings are tight. Now remember, belly button in like yesterday and push in towards the ground. Notice how that foundation is already strong, right? We don't have that much further to go when we do hop up to get our hips on top of our shoulders. Perfect. And now slowly come down, relax, give the shoulders a little bit of a shake, a little bit of a wriggle. So there's your tips 1 and 2. Number 1 is spreading the fingers wide, pulling the fingers back to lift the knuckles. And number 2 is where to put the weight. So the weight needs to be, to start with, around this middle knuckle here. A lot of the time I see people placing the weight at the base of the palm, especially when you're on the wall. That means the wall's taking more of the weight. So even though it's scary, I want you to try and bring the weight a little bit more forward. And the last thing we're going to touch on before we do go into our L shapes in the wall is where are you looking? So in our handstand, where you're looking is a vital part because it's telling the body where you need to go. So generally, a lot of us like to look forward, especially if we're yogis. It makes us feel a little bit more safer, right? But the only problem is looking forward is if you come onto all fours again and you look forward, notice this openness of the chest. It's kind of drawing the shoulder blades down the back, which is the opposite of what we want to do in a handstand, right? So what I want you to think about doing is when you do come upside down, instead of looking forward and bringing the weight forward, again, hollow out the body, so push and round, and bring the gaze back. So it's going to come back either between the thumbs or the wrist line. For me, I actually drop it past my wrist now, but the further back that the gaze is, for one, the easier it is going to be to stack, and then when you do find your balance, your line is going to look even more fabulous. Just as an example for you, I will put on screen now 2 different variations of your handstand. One that you can see on the left is obviously me looking forward past my hands, and you can see how my alignment's a little bit off and I'm fighting for that balance a little bit more. And then option number 2, which is on the right hand side, is when I already start to tuck the chin in. I bring the gaze back closer towards the wrist line and I get more into a straight shape. Okay guys, now you have that newfound knowledge. We're going to bring it into action and bring it into a new shape on the wall, which will be our L shape. I want you to think about the grip, think about the gaze. Obviously we're pushing up super strong, so we're trying to bring those biceps up towards the ears. And remember from yesterday, our pelvis, right? So we're tucking the pelvis under and we're getting that nice kind of core corset. So what I want you to do is coming close towards the wall, so starting off, again, hands maybe 1 meter away from the wall, depending on, of course, how beautifully tall you are. And now start with the fingers, right? So we're starting with whatever's touching the ground first, pushing those fingers down, pulling the knuckles back, the rounding of the spine, And now what I want you to do is just bring one foot onto the wall. So this foot is going to be completely in line with the hip. We're not completely up if we're flexible. We're not down because it's going to be even harder. So try and bring the toes in line with the glutes. Now round through the spine. The foot that's on the wall, push into the wall with a foot. So come high up on the toes that are on the floor. Lean forward, set the gaze. Remember, we need to see where the weight is. Now this foot that's going to float up, I want you to think about pulling that hip flexor all the way up in towards you. So we're activating the core, ribs are nice and tight. Now as you do, keep that connection in towards the pelvis and begin to straighten up that one foot all the way up towards the ceiling. Now from here, don't let that foot get too far back. Think about pushing up straight towards the ceiling. Again, pushing through the palms, super nice and stacked. And we're going to breathe here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Keep the weight into the knuckles, remember. 3, 2, and 1. Soften the knee that's on the wall and bring the foot down and give yourself a tiny bit of a shake. Good. So first time might be a little bit scary. You might feel like, oh my God, I don't have the strength to do this. We'll take it slow. We'll do the second side, and then I'll give you some playtime on your own before we go into our workouts, right? So remember, rounding of the spine, weight into the middle knuckles, set the gaze down, and we just want to send the floor away. That core connection, you're pulling that femur bone in towards the pelvis to get that posterior tilt that we talked about yesterday. So second side, setting up into the palms. We're going to place the opposite foot on the wall just for balance, round through the upper back. So already set that foundation. Already push the weight a little bit forward, push into the foot into the wall, plug that femur bone into the hip socket on the opposite side, and then slowly try and straighten it up towards your handstand. Good. So this foot, glutes, super active. Squeezing and pushing up high towards the ceiling. We're going to take a few more breaths. Try not to let the legs externally rotate, inner thighs hugging towards each other. Core nice and tight for 2. And 1, slowly drop it down. Release, give yourself a little bit of a roll, a bit of a shake. So, L shape on the wall for you. What I want you to do now is pause this video before we go into our loading and our workout session. Have a little bit of a play around with that type of variation. Try and record yourself so you have kind of reference to look back and see what the body is doing. And of course, if you want feedback, just tag me on my Instagram. I would love to help you guys out. So yeah, take 5 minutes, have a play, and then meet me back here when you're ready. Okay, everyone, I hope you enjoyed your little play on the wall. So now we're going to go into 3 rounds, 4 exercises of workout. It will be designed to hit those areas that you need to have nice and stable for your handstands. So exercise number 1 is going to be your wall walks. This is obviously trying to get us used to the hips over the shoulders. Option number 1 is we're just going to stay in a pike position so you don't have to come all the way up. We're just finding the L shape and back down. Option number 2, we walk it into a full handstand and back out. We're going to do 5 of those and we're going to do it together. Exercise number 2 is going to be your 10 back extensions. Reason why I put these in is because it's actually doing the opposite of our handstands, right? So we need to balance it out a little bit. It'll get this whole kind of back line of the body nice and stable for us. Exercise number 3 is going to be your push-ups. Like I said, there will be 3 rounds of this. So every round we're going to do a different variation of push-up. Variation number 1 is going to be your diamond push-up, so a closed grip, making a diamond shape with the hands, pulling the chest in towards the hands, and then push in and round in as we come back. Option number 2 is going to be your regular stance, so hands shoulder width apart, making an A shape with the elbows, so not chaturanga. And then option number 3 is a little bit of a wider push-up, so with this one, do turn your fingers out a little bit to avoid the loading of the wrists, and that will help us get into the pec muscles a little bit more. These 3 variations I am going to do on my knees. If you wish to take it up and do a full variation, please do, but remember that posterior pelvic tilt to keep the core nice and turned on. And our last exercise is going to be nice and easy Russian twist, so spine nice and straight, just taking the hands to either side of the body in what's traditionally an Avasana or a boat pose. If you want to make it harder and you're pretty strong, you can bring a weight to kind of play with that one as well. So that being said, let's start with our wall walk. So coming in to a plank position first. You flexible people, you're not going to get away with it. So starting from here, 5 rounds of wall walk. So feet onto the wall, either coming into a pike or all the way into a straight handstand. If you feel good, squeeze at the top, squeeze the glutes, and then walk it all the way back down. No cheating, no half. Good. There's one. Taking it back up. Walking it up as far as you can. Remember, core nice and tight, glutes nice and squeezed. Bring it all the way back down. Perfect. There's 2. 3 more. We got this. Trying to minimize the shake in the hips. Load into the shoulders. That push as we come all the way up. And then walk it back down. 2 more. Bravo. Let's go. Walk it in. Good. Feet up towards the ceiling or take that shape. Just remember that elevation of the scapula. Perfect. 1 more time. Whew, my arms. Good. Bringing it in. Glutes squeeze. That tilt of the pelvis. Take it all the way back out. And breathe. Come down onto your bellies. Coming in, 10 back extensions. So remember the whole back line is going to be active here. Going to start in 2 and 1. Lifting the chest, squeezing the glutes. Drop the chin a little bit. Let the action come from the back. There's 1. Lifting it up, breathing. And then slowly lower down. So just a slight pause at the bottom to lifting up for 3. Taking it up for 4. Think of that pulling back of the shoulder blades. Bring it down. For 5, lifting it up, squeezing. And lower. For 6. Good. Make sure there's no tension in the traps. You can drop the chin. Lifting for 7. Lowering it down. Lifting it up for 8. Perfect. For 9. Big squeeze. And lower. Last one, 10. Lift it up. Hold it there. Squeeze in the glutes. Try and lift the chest a little bit more for 3. 2. And 1. Release. Bravo. Shake it out. We're coming into our first variation of push-up, which will be diamond shape with our hands. So hands come down, making that kind of triangle. We're going to lean forward. I like to take the feet up. Try not to cross the feet, or if you do, swap them on rep 5. Good. Bringing it forward. So tailbone down, belly button in, look forward. Starting in 2 and 1. Chest towards the hands. Push and round and bring it up. Perfect. So just set a steady rhythm, lowering it down and lifting for 3. We got this. 4. Core nice and tight. Don't let the lower back go for 5. Halfway there. 6. If you need to rest, you can. 7. Whew. Good for 8. Try not to let the shoulders roll in for 9. Last one. And 10. Bravo. Relax. Breathe. 20 Russian twists. 20 is not that much when you are moving. We'll take a little stop, and then we're back onto our wall walk. So sitting back onto the sit bones, try and pull them knees in towards the belly, arms out in front of you, and let's go. So arms towards the right, and then to the left. So tapping the floor. Try and move a little bit slow, so then we can really feel that curve in the obliques. Good. I'm for 8. 10, so we're halfway there. 9, 8, 7, 6, chest lifted. 5, 4, 3, try not to round the back. 2, last one, and 1, bravo. Bring it in, shake it off, coming back into your wall walk. So whichever variation you're doing, starting in the plank pose, rounding through the back, feet onto the wall, walk it all the way up as far as you can. Glutes squeeze, core nice and tight. Remember our core sits, guys. And then walk it all the way back out. Whew, I know these are a killer. So if you want to regress to that little bit easier variation of the L, then you can. 3 more. I'm in it with you. And I apologize if you are dirtying your walls as you do it, because I know I most definitely am. Good. 2 more. Let's go. Pushing it up, that squeeze, a little bit of pause at the top, and then bringing it down. We have 1 more. Whew, we got this. bringing it up, lifting it up, hold at the top, big squeeze, and then slowly bringing it all the way down. Arms a little bit of a roll, and then coming into our 10 back extensions. So, chest on the ground, arms out wide. When you are ready, it's that pulling action to pull the whole back line together, squeezing and lifting up, and then slowly lowering down. Lifting it up for 9. Lower for 8. Keep the chin down. For 7, squeeze at the bottom of those shoulder blades. Good. For 6, nearly halfway, lifting it up and squeeze. 5, good. Make sure the glutes are active. For 4, for 3, setting that nice tempo. For 2, last one, lift it up, hold. Good, no tension in the traps. Try and lift up a little bit higher for 3, 2, and 1, release. Shake it out. Coming in, push-ups. So regular push-ups, my yogis, they are not chaturangas. We're making an A shape with the crown of the head and the elbows. So hands shoulder distance. If the wrists are hurting, turn the fingers out a little bit more. And again, lean forward, shoulder blades down the back, tuck the tailbone under, squeeze in the glutes, let's go. Chest towards the floor, push and round. So set a nice even tempo. For 3, take it down. 4, exhale on the way up. For 5, halfway. 6, 7, don't lose that connection. 8, 9, don't let the lower back go. And 10, brava. Come and sit down on the glutes. We have this 20 Russian twists. So knees in, spine nice and straight, picking the feet up. Think boat pose and then passing that imaginary weight to the right hand side, then the left. Good. Slow it down. Think of that complete kind of twisting in the obliques. Good. I think that's 8. Good. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Keep the knees close. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Brava. Woo. 1 more round, and then I shall leave you in peace for today. So wall walks, of course, you can always regress, bring it in. If you want to just walk from a very short downward dog into a plank, I'll let you on this one. So when you are ready, 5 wall walks, let's get it. Feet on the wall, walk it all the way in. A push and a squeeze at the top, trying to bring those biceps next to the ears, and then walk it all the way down. Perfect. Your last 5, last little bit of effort in this round, and then you can carry on your days as if this never happened. Good, that's 2. Walking it in, 3rd round. Big squeeze at the top. Remember, where is the weight in the fingers? Try and keep it around the knuckles. 2 more. Lifting it up. I hope you appreciate that I am going through this with you. Oh. 1 more time. Let's go. Walk it in. Big squeeze at the top. Good. And then slowly bring it down. Ta ta ta. Relax. 1 shoulder roll. Let it all go. And our last variations of push-ups, where we're going to take the arms wide to get a little bit more in towards our pecs. So turn the fingers out for this one. Setup's the same. So on the knees, shoulder blades down, chest forward. We're going to go for 10 reps. So try not to stick the booty out, tuck it down. Let's go. Lower it down. Lift it up and round. 10. Good. Core super nice and tight. For 8, 7, 6. You'll be able to feel it in different areas. For 5, halfway. 4, 3 more. Let's go. 2 more. Perfect. Give me 1 more push-up. And then slowly release. Oh, that one felt fabulous. Not. And I just remembered, I forgot the back extensions, so we're going to do them now. Coming down on towards your belly. Good. 10 of your last back extensions, so arms wide. No wonder the shoulders hurt on that one. Lift it all the way up. Squeeze. Lowering it down. Setting that pace. Lifting up for 9. Good. Lift up for 8. 7. That pull of the back. Good. 8. Amazing. That would be 5. I've messed up the counting on this one, it's 2. For 4, lower. For 3 more. 2 more to lift. Perfect. After this one, we've got 1 more. So lower it down, lift it up, squeeze the glutes, hold it there. Try and get a little bit more lift. For 3, 2, and 1. Release. Coming down onto your bellies. 20 Russian twists, and then voila, we are done. So knees in, toes up. Try and keep the knees together, spine nice and straight. Imaginary weight in the hand, take it over to the left. And slowly switch it. Perfect. So try and move it a little bit more slow and controlled. Always thinking about pulling those knees in towards you. I'm halfway there for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Breathe. Release. Congratulations. Little bit of a burner, which will serve you well in your handstanding game. So, day 4, officially and completely done. Just to recap, the main things you need to take away from today is the small details around our control pads. So remember, fingertips in towards the floor. We lift in the middle knuckles. We bring in the weight across those middle knuckles as we round and look in between the wrists. Remember, only $10 for my inverted ebook if you wish to say thanks. If not, no worries, but please let me know how you're going on in the comments below. And I'll see you tomorrow for some active flexibility.